You're live, Chair.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to this Central Planning Committee meeting on Wednesday, the 23rd of October 2024. My name is Councillor John Driver and I am the chair of this committee. Members, we are streaming this meeting live as well as recording, and by being present at the meeting, you are giving your consent to being recorded. During each item, please put your hand up to indicate if you wish to speak. I will then invite you at the appropriate time. Could I ask members to avoid approaching the top table, as this could create interference with the cameras and live stream. Please note that the YouTube live stream sound recording is dependent on the correct use of the microphones. Therefore, can I ask that when invited to speak, you remember to turn on your microphone and turn it off when finished. Please reference a page or paragraph number when referring to the agenda papers and keep your contributions as clear and concise as possible. Committee Clerk, could we please have any apologies?
Good evening, Chair. Thank you. We have apologies from Councillor Jennings. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. On to then agenda item 3, minutes. It is recommended that the minutes of the meeting held on Wednesday the 31st of July 2024 and found on pages 7 to 12 are approved as a true and accurate record. I so move. Do I have a second? Councillor Stilts. Can we have a vote, please? Those, or by assent, happy by assent, yeah, agreed. Thank you very much. Declarations of interest, agenda item 4, to disclose the existence and nature of any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registrable interest and non-registrable interests relating to items of business on the agenda having regard to paragraph 9 and appendix B, the Code of Conduct for members. Members are reminded that they are also required to disclose any such interest as soon as they become aware, should the need arise, throughout the meeting. Any declarations of interest? Councillor Stilts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that we all have a interest in this item, but I believe that the monitoring officer has given us all clear dispensation on it.
Yeah, indeed. Any other declarations? No? Okay, thank you. On to then agenda item 5. So this is a planning application 24000495, Stevens House, Everest Way. There has been no members update for this item, and there is no public participation. So I think, Mr. Lawrence, you are taking us through this report.
Thank you. Good evening, members. If I go to the first slide. This is an application at Stevens House, Everest Way, Heybridge, for the conversion of a communal lounge and kitchen to provide a single bedsit unit for emergency temporary accommodation. The site is located to the rear of numbers 5 to 9 Everest Way and is served by pedestrian access from Everest Way, which also provides access to the adjacent open space, which is just to the southeast of the building. The building is currently vacant at the present time. I go on to existing floor plans. The site comprises a 2-storey detached building, which includes 4 two-bedroom flats used to provide emergency temporary accommodation in accordance with the council's statutory duties. There is a single-storey element comprising a communal office lounge and kitchen area in which the proposed bedsit unit would be located. I go to the next slide showing the existing and proposed plans. I would just like to emphasise it does appear from looking at the proposed plan as though it's taking away the toilet from flat number 2, but this is a communal toilet, so I apologise for the confusion. It implies that flat 2 is losing its toilet, which is not the situation. So I'll go on to the So the proposed bedsit would replace the existing communal toilet, office, lounge and kitchen area. It would provide approximately 22 square metres of accommodation with level access to the bathroom. No additional windows are proposed and there is no extension to the existing building. I move on to site 5. This photograph is taken on Everest Way, looking along the pedestrian access from Everest Way to Stephen's house, which can be seen to the centre of the photo to the rear of the adjacent dwellings. Moving on to the next photograph, this is a view of Stephen's house from the pedestrian access. The access into the property is through that gate to the right of the building. The next photograph, this photograph shows the rear of Stephen's house, which is taken from the adjacent public open space, which I referred to earlier. And going on to the next slide, this photograph is showing the access into the site. The access is through the single-storey part of the building, which you can see to the left of the photograph. So to the final slide, the conclusion. The site is in Heybridge, where sustainable development is supported. The site is within walking distance from a range of facilities and services, including public transport. The proposal would provide much needed temporary accommodation within the district in accordance with the council's statutory duties. The proposed development, as set out in the committee report, accords with policy H3 of the Maldon District Approved Local Development Plan and the Council's specialist needs supplementary planning document. No objections to the proposal from neighbours or consultees. There is support from the Parish Council. Accordingly, the proposal is recommended for approval, subject to the usual planning conditions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawrence. Members, any questions or observations? Councillor Spenceley.
Thank you, Chair. So I was fortunate enough to be able to go along and visit the site when it was in the early stages of being repurposed. And it's in a really great location for what we're going to, hopefully, if it's used for this, if members agree to this, to be used for. Because it's set back, as you can see, off of the main estate. It's got a nice green area there, and it's a proper brick built but temporary accommodation. So I think it's, from my point of view, a great thing that we're doing there. I've actually seen the part that we're converting to the flat, and it's obviously not going to be appropriate to have it used as its old use as a community lounge area. So I would say that, having seen it, it makes perfect sense, in case that assures members, but it really does seem to me a really commendable project and something that will be of great use to the district going forward and to our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Spenceley. Any other questions or comments? No? Well, we have a recommendation within the report to approve, subject to the conditions as outlined in section 8 of this report. So I so move. Do I have a second? Councillor Stilts, thank you. Can we have a vote on that? Those in favour, please. Unanimous. I'll include myself in that. Thank you very much. So we will move on to agenda item 6. Any other items of business that the chairperson decides are urgent? I have a very long list. You'll be glad to know I don't. So I don't have anything. You'll be glad to know. And so that brings us at 7:39 to the close of this meeting. So thank you for your contributions this evening, and I close the meeting.